So clients often want to know who pays my medical bills when I've had an injury. And there are different answers to that. So if you have health insurance, your health insurance pays. If you don't have health insurance, then either you pay out of pocket or we set up what's called a lien, where there are doctors out there and there are medical facilities that will see you on a lien basis, where they keep a running tab of what your costs are and your charges are. And then when we settle your lawsuit or we get a jury verdict for you, those liens get paid out. But most people have health insurance, and for those people, their health insurance pays their medical bills. Now, health insurance is a big, broad area, and it's not just private health insurance. Included in that is there are people who have Medi-Cal or Medicare, and we consider those, even though they're not technically health insurance, we consider those like health insurance. And Medicare and Medi-Cal need to be paid back out of your settlement, just like your insurance company in most circumstances is going to want to be paid back out of the settlement, and in most circumstances they have a right to be paid back. Now, the good news is that when you pay back an insurance company typically, or Medi-Cal or Medicare, there's a formula or negotiation, because there's a recognition that if in your lawsuit you've paid an attorney money to go and recoup those monies, to recover the amount of the medical bills, then the medical insurance companies or Medi-Cal or Medicare should have to pay their fair share in attorney's fees. So for example, if you have $10,000 in medical bills and you've paid the attorney a 40% contingency fee, well, when you recoup those monies, that $10,000 for your past medical bills from the person who hurt you, really you've paid your attorney $4,000 of that money under that hypothetical. So the idea is that rather than paying back $10,000, you might only have to pay back to your insurance company $6,000. That way, your insurance company doesn't get an unfair advantage or gain, and you don't get unfairly taken advantage of by having to pay an attorney and pay back the full amount of those medical bills that were paid by the insurance company. So that's a simplification of a complicated process. But I really encourage you, if you have questions about medical bills and what are your rights and how they get paid back, call us, talk to us about it. We're happy to help explain it to you and help you understand it. Another thing that clients often want to know, they've been in an accident and they come in and they talk to us, what's going to be involved? What is it that a person who's been injured is going to have to do to participate in the case? Well, I'm going to tell you just straight out, the client, you, are the most important part of any lawsuit. Okay, so we need you to participate, and we need you to be available. We need you to be honest always. Whether you're talking to us, whether you're dealing with the other side, you got to be honest always. And so what's going to be involved is, initially there's investigation, and we need to get all the information that you have. And then once the lawsuit is filed, there's going to be a whole process called discovery, where there will be written questions, there will be documents exchanged, and there will be things called depositions. And depositions are where they sit in a conference room, there's a court reporter, there's a defense lawyer, there's you, and there's me. And the defense lawyer will ask questions, and you provide truthful answers, and the court reporter will take it all down. That, for the most part, is the biggest part of the litigation piece of what is going to be required of a client. But probably the most important thing that's going to be required of the client is follow up with your medical care. Don't give up. It's a very frustrating process when you have an injury that's lingering and it's going on, and it seems like medical care may not be helping as much. Sometimes things just go slowly. But if your doctor is ordering medical care, if you're continuing to have therapy, go, do it, give it your all. What you find, and what we find over the years, is the people who are really clearly directed towards trying to get better, towards trying to stay a little bit more active, trying to stay mobile, and who follow their doctor's orders and follow the treatment plan that's been put in place, the most important thing is those people really tend to do better. They do better in terms of their recovery, but they also do better in terms of their lawsuit, because what the defense sees, and ultimately if the case goes to a jury trial, what the jury sees is they see somebody who's been injured who is absolutely motivated and has the best interests of everyone at heart, but particularly their own health. They're motivated to get better, and they're motivated to do everything they can to get better. There's nothing worse in a personal injury case than when there's a person who's been injured who just gives up and doesn't want to try, when there are treatment options that are available and have been offered, but the person doesn't want to bother to do it. I know it can be scary, I know it can be painful, and it can be frustrating, but at the end of the day, if you do your level best to do everything you can to get better, you'll feel better and your case will be more successful. Clients often want to know, hey, won't the defendant's insurance company just take care of all my damages? And the answer is, well, eventually, yeah. I mean, eventually they'll do it because we make them do it. For the most part, insurance companies don't voluntarily part with their money. What they do is they fight, and they fight a lot. And they try to demean and belittle people who have been injured, because a lot of people just give up. They don't have the fight in them. Well, and that's really why you want to hire a lawyer. You're one step removed from them. Once you hire the lawyer, you never have to talk to that adjuster again. Here's reality. Insurance companies are geared towards that attitude most of the time, because so many people get frustrated and they just give up and they don't want to pursue what they ought to pursue. And even when you hire a lawyer, most of the time, there's still a fight ahead of you. But you know what? If you do your research, you hire a good lawyer is going to fight the fight for you, and a good lawyer is not going to let them take advantage of you. And ultimately, if a case has to go to trial, a good lawyer who has trial experience will get the job done for you. And that's really what you want. And that's why most cases don't go to trial, especially when they're handled by lawyers who know what they're doing, who have the experience and the track record to get the job done for you. You know, oftentimes people are concerned that the person that they sue is going to have to file bankruptcy, or there's going to be some terrible situation that happens to that person. And here's reality. For the most part, that never happens. What happens is when somebody who has insurance crashes into you and causes your injury, that person's insurance company has to provide them a lawyer in their defense, and then when there's a judgment or a settlement, the insurance company has to pay it. And so, you know, you don't have to worry about the person who you've sued, because for the most part, that never comes to pass. That person never pays $1 of the judgment or settlement. Now, in circumstances where there isn't enough insurance or there's no insurance, sure, there's that risk. But for the most part, when there isn't enough insurance, the insurance company has an opportunity to settle the claim in full for whatever the insurance limits are. But if the insurance company then does what insurance companies so often do and not settle within the policy limits, thereby potentially exposing their insured, the person who hurt you, to what's called an excess verdict, a verdict larger than the amount of the insurance coverage. So when that happens and an insurance company does that to a person who's paid their premiums, the insurance company will likely be responsible for having to pay the full amount of the judgment, regardless of whether it's more than the amount of the insurance policy. So, if you're one of the people who's concerned about the effect that this bringing a lawsuit will have on the person who hurt you, that's a wonderful quality in you as a human being, to be caring about somebody else. But what I'm telling you is, for the most part, you don't have to worry about that, because that person will be all right. Can't I just handle the case myself and do better and get more, because then I don't have to pay for lawyer fees and costs? What are attorney's fees? Attorney's fees are the monies that are paid to the lawyer for his or her time, and to pay for the time of the lawyer's office and staff. Costs are something different. Costs are the monies that I write checks out to other people that are not in my firm. So for example, to file a lawsuit in Sacramento County costs over $500 now. And so in order to file the lawsuit, I don't call you up as my client and say, hey, I need $500 to file your lawsuit. I pay that, and we keep an accounting of that. And at the end of the case, those costs come back to us. Now, to prepare the lawsuit and to file it, there's obviously lawyer time and staff time. That doesn't get paid out. That's part of the contingency fee. So when you hire our firm and there's a contingency fee, that covers all of my time and my staff's time and our overhead and our rent and everything that goes to running a law practice. So the costs are monies that are paid to people having nothing to do with your firm, paying for the filing of the lawsuit, paying expert witnesses, paying an investigator to go out, do witness statements, take photographs, all of that other work that gets done. Those are costs. Then we have our fees, which are the contingency fee. And the great thing about a contingency fee is, if the case doesn't work out, you don't owe anything. And if the case does work out, you pay a percentage. And the other great thing is, because it's a percentage basis, lawyers aren't motivated to just generate work. We're motivated to efficiently generate as large a settlement or jury verdict as we can get you. And we're all on the same page there, because the more we get you, the more we earn. And so when you're hiring lawyers on a contingency fee, we're pretty much all charged the same contingency fee. Almost all of us charge the exact same fee. So if you're going to pay the same fee, don't you want to make sure that you get the best bang for your buck and you hire the best that you can find? There are all different kinds of lawyers out there. There are a whole bunch of people who are in the profession to settle as many cases as they can and to do it early. And there are those of us who are committed to working on your case and trying to put our best foot forward always, so that we can try to maximize what we recover for you. Now I want to talk to you about one of the things is my least favorite part of what I do, and that's having to tell people I can't help them. You know, every day we're fortunate enough that our phone rings and people are calling us trying to get us to help with their case. They want us to represent them. They want us to investigate what's going on. And in fact, there are lawyers from all over the state that send me cases because they think they have cases that perhaps we can take on and help with. Here's the problem with that. We have a firm that is set up with a certain number of people, and we only take on a certain number of cases. And we are committed to just taking on cases that we know we can do justice on. Every single case that we take on as if it's a case that we're willing to take to trial. And we're committed to that. And we put in a lot of time and energy on that. And the reason why this is such a difficult thing is there are so many people with real injuries that have real problems that we're just not able to help, because we need to know that we've got the time and the energy in the firm to be able to help those people who we commit to help. And please remember this, if you ever contact us and we tell you that we can't help you, that doesn't mean you don't have a case. That just means that we're not able to help you with the case. But there are a lot of lawyers out there. And I mean it sincerely when I say that if you feel that you have a legitimate case and you've been injured, I encourage you to call other lawyers. Never take the opinion of one or two lawyers that they're not willing to help you on your case, because there are all kinds of reasons why lawyers can't get involved in cases. Keep looking, keep pursuing, and eventually you'll likely find somebody who's willing to take a look.